Keke says she was raised believing that Glenn was her father, but in recent years, she heard from family and Glenn that there's a chance he's not her dad. What makes this even more tragic is that Keke's mother was brutally murdered. And the idea of her only living parent denying her breaks her heart. Take a look.
Her mom was visiting a friend of hers. And it was her and a couple other women over there. It was a male friend of hers, and something came up missing. Some money or something came up missing. And an argument broke out. And he was able to grab a knife or something. And once he grabbed the knife, he must have stabbed her. And when he stabbed her, I guess he hit a main artery or something and it killed her. I do understand why this test is important to her, because her mom was murdered. She got a deep wound deep down inside, and now the possibility of me not being her father, it could probably crush her even more. When I came back in her life, as she was a teenager, she was real disrespectful, so I was telling her, ain't no child of mine do nothing like that. You don't act like nobody in my family. You're like you in somebody else's family, because people in my family don't act like that. She got a mouth on her. She'll say smart things, and I say smart things back. I've told her that she look like somebody else. Another friend of mine that I know, it's a possibility she could be his child. I've told Keke that, you might not be my daughter. You could be somebody else's. Just because we look alike don't mean you my daughter. I've said that. I know that's the worst thing you can say to a child, something like that, but, when you're angry, things come out. But I ain't mean it. I ain't never mean nothing like that. I ain't never thought it to get to this right here. A test, there's a possibility she might not be mine. I just thought for all these years, she's mine. I ain't never think nothing different. I mean, it wasn't me who asked to call the show. It was her, so she must have had some type of doubt in her mind. I ain't had no doubt. So if the test come back and they tell me my baby, then I don't know what I'm gonna do.
It hurts to know that the man that I loved and believed to be my father all these years has denied me. He told me that I wasn't his, I belonged to someone else. He also told me that I was just pushed on him. I was just gave to him. And it hurts also knowing that my mother was brutally murdered at the age of 34. I was also young myself. And to know that I could possibly lose two parents, it hurts. It hurts.
And what happened with your mother?
She was stabbed. She was stabbed to death. And the police came and the detectives came to her house and was like, hey, we have someone that may be your mom. She was really young. I went in this courtroom, this judge showed me these pictures of my mom stabbed to death. She was laying on her back with her eyes open, just staring out in space, and it looked like she was just calling for help, like, I want my kids. It hurts knowing that. I don't know if I have parents.
Did they catch the person who did this? Mm-hmm. Okay. So your whole life, you believe that Glenn is your father?
Mm-hmm.
And
he's all I've known my life as a dad.
And how did it come up that he might not be your father?
Well, like over the years, hearing him talking to family members like, that ain't my baby. I've been knowing that ain't my baby. He's told people that, family has told me that, I didn't know that was your dad. I always thought someone else was your dad.
And when you hear him say that, how did that make you feel?
It hurts. It hurts my heart. Bad, it's a piece, like it takes a piece away from my heart that I don't know if I'll be able to replace back in there, especially if he's not my dad.
So you want Glenn to be your father?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, let's bring out Glenn.
You got the right to feel like that. You got the right, before you start criticizing me, just know, though, your mother was easy to get when I first met your mother.
I know.
I love you, too.
I love you. My kids love you.
What did you just say?
When I first met her mother was easy to get. Your mother was easy to get, okay?
Don't talk about my mama like that. Don't talk about my mama like that.
Excuse me,
Don't
sir.
talk about my mama like that.
Her mother was brutally murdered.
I understand that.
How about having some compassion?
I have compassion.
Why? I mean, I think everybody has heard the expression, don't talk ill of the dead.
I'm not talking ill of her.
Oh, well, it sounds like it. This is her mother.
Yes.
He didn't even come to the funeral.
I know.
Okay, why are you here today, Glenn?
I'm here today to find out if she's my daughter or not.
Okay, and why with keeping her feelings in mind, why do you feel there's a possibility that you might not be the father?
Because, like I said, when I first met your mother, she was easy. It took me 48 hours to deal with her. 48 hours. I'm just, listen.
So you must have been easy also then.
I was.
So she wasn't doing anything different than what you were doing, right?
Exactly. What I'm saying is, with never no test done, 9 months later, here she come and say, here's a baby, she's yours. With no proof, never, just here's a baby.
But why did it take so long for you to come out and say anything like, you're not mine? Why didn't you wait till we grew a strong connection? Why did you let me love you, my kids love you? Why did you say, those are my grandkids? Why did you always have that? I'm your daddy there. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you're not mine. I don't know if you're mine. You belong to somebody else. You look like somebody else. I'm not your daddy.
Listen, when you was 3 months old, I was 16 turning 17. Your mother was 14 turning 15. We was both kids. I didn't know what to do with no baby. I didn't know what to do with no kid. I was still a kid myself.
Why now?
I didn't want to put you in no position to where...
Why now?
But now, because look, she's 30 years old now. I'm about to be 48 this month. I need to know if this is my child, really, because I love her. I love her dearly. Okay, nothing never changed that. No matter what the results say today, she's gonna always be my baby. I love her to death.
That's my point. She's 30 years old. You're 48. Why even do the damn test?
I didn't call for this test. I didn't even call to ask for this test. She did. After 3 months until now, after 3 months, I thought she was my baby. Now, I figured from 3 months until 30, we got 30 years invested. Can't nothing ever change that. So I didn't even think I need no test. I never thought of no test. No, I had never brought no test. After I started having her in my life, then that was my baby.
But you did go around saying, oh, I don't think she's mine.
I have made that comment.
You're making comments to people.
I have made a comment because of the...
But that must hurt her when you're making these comments.
I mean, when people get mad, people make certain comments. She said things to me that hurts me too.
Glenn, you took a DNA test to determine if Keke is your daughter. You've had doubts, been making comments for years and years and years. You put a lot of doubt in Keke's mind, and the results of the DNA test, Glenn, is you are the father.
Better.
I love you, all right? I love you. They ain't gonna never change. I didn't care what your test say, I'm always gonna love you. You been my baby for 3 months, you ain't gonna never change. If it said you wasn't, it wasn't gonna change nothing. You my baby.
How can you feel different? 10 minutes ago, I was ready to go home. I feel good now. I feel great. I feel great. I love you. Oh, I'm good.